Okay. Let's let's see if everything's working as always. I know that I'm not on the screen at the moment, but give me a second. Um, okay, stream. I love when it says excellent connection. That's great. Where's my chat? I don't know where the chat. Where's the chat gone? Um, there it is. There it is. All right, cool. We are here. Welcome to the stream. Pretty good game for us, in all honesty. I would surmise this. I would summarize this by saying that we were much the better team in this game, I think, and against the team that were the champions of their league last year, I think that's a very good indication of where we are. I don't think that there are many teams in the Premier League that are better than this Inter team, and for us to put on such an incredible performance in terms of actually how we played and how we kind of controlled the game, the Discord's popping off. I need to remember to actually finish doing that. Yeah, I think it's a good indicator of kind of the steps that we've taken in kind of in pre-season. Obviously, this is our last pre-season game before we go off to Manchester City and we face them. But yeah, so we kind of got to kind of see a glimpse of a few different things in this game. Welcome in. Why are you here? So I've put this chat box here on screen, as you can see. I'm trying to get it to work, and it keeps coming up with a stupid "Welcome to the live chat. Remember your guidelines" and stuff, and it keeps cutting off stuff. You shall be able to see yourself. This is just a temporary measure. I can't get the the full chat up at the moment because it just goes all stretchy and weird. I'll fix that in between streams. I've got a lot of other stuff which I need to fix between streams. So I want to talk about this game, and we'll obviously get into the 7 points a little bit later, but I kind of want to talk about the kind of the shape that we played, and also just the kind of adaptations that we've kind of seen Enzo Maresca do, which I think were an indicator of a lot of the things that people have been worried about, and that he can adapt, and he can change things, and he can get the best out of certain players. Obviously, we saw two completely different formations in the first half and in the second half because of the way we played. Obviously, we played with two fullbacks from the start of the game, which wasn't something that we kind of expected for us to do. But then that ended up happening. Obviously, Cucurella came in and did decently. I don't think he was particularly bad. I don't think he was particularly good. He's not one of the points. Let's get into the let's get into the feeling blue. I'm so out of sorts. It is, as you can probably see from the face cam, it is so hot. My room is western facing, so when it gets to the afternoon, the sun is beating through my window. It's so warm. I'm dying. But yeah, let's get into the episode. Let's just go. Lads, lasses, and the rest of the masses, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mono from Mono CFC, and welcome to season 2 of Feeling Blue. Let's go. Alright, welcome to Feeling Blue. Now, as ever, I'm going to be doing my 7 points. I'm a little bit out of sync here. One sec. Boop, there we go. As again, I'm going to take a lot of positives from this performance, and I know other people are going to be very pessimistic and be like, oh, we didn't score until such and such minute. Oh, we didn't do this. We limited a very, very good Inter team to basically one chance in that entire game. All of the other chances they got were half chances or random shots from outside the box. For the majority of the game, we completely bossed them. And for a team that, as I said before at the top of this, won their league last year, that's something for us to aspire to. Now, I think that we've kind of saw a lot of good performances from a lot of kind of surprising players in this one. And obviously, again, we saw different kind of tactical shapes. We saw, obviously, Gusto not really inverting. We played this kind of 3-3-3-1 kind of thing, or like a 3-3-4, which was kind of interesting in the first half. In the second half, we saw what a lot of people have kind of been asking for with James, and obviously we did it with Gusto, where Gusto was playing really, really wide right, and then we had Palmer coming in on the inside and letting him take that right wing role, and him kind of playing as the inside 10. Now, we kind of looked like that. Yeah, I think I can agree that we did look a bit slow, and I do want to kind of I'm gonna put that down to simply it's really hot. It's really, really hot. I think it's like 30 degrees in London or something. The humidity is crazy today. A lot of people coming back into the squad, as someone's just suggested, and yeah, and again, against a team like Inter that weren't really playing a full strength side, but neither were we particularly, but they weren't playing a weak side at all. They were playing a lot of their first teamers. I think it's a good barometer of how we can play and how we can dominate teams. Now, obviously, our finishing wasn't the greatest. That will come with time, that will come with practice, that will come with getting players used to each other. We saw a lot of kind of connections between the players not being there really, and kind of a lot of players kind of being out of sync. I think that, for example, Nkunku was a little bit out of sync with some of his players. Enzo was a bit out of sync with Mudryk on the left at times. There was some things that we can take from the game in terms of negatives, but I'm not going to focus on them too much. And that being said, though I usually start on the goods, and I usually start on the good side and then go across to the bad side. I'm actually just going to go straight to the bad and the medium first and just get it out of the way so I don't have to be negative for this video, because I think this is a very good performance. There is one player going in bad. I want you guys to try and guess who this player that's going in bad is going to be, because I'm pretty sure everyone will know who it is. And to me, he was the only glaring player in this game. I think that everyone else had a decent enough game, and everyone I could kind of point to this one player being like the one player that was bad. A few people are saying it. It's Mykhailo Mudryk. I tweeted about this, and I said this earlier in the season. I said that this is a very, very important season for him in terms of him kind of cementing himself and proving to us that he's not a complete bozo. He has not done that at all. And now I'm worried for him, because this was a game where we knew that we were going to be revealing Pedro Neto, who looks like he's going to be our left wing replacement. He's not going to be on the right wing. Despite him being a left-footed player, he can obviously play on the left wing. And this was a game where he really needs to step up and kind of show, hey, you know what, I can take this left wing role, I can play here, I can actually create from the left-hand side, I can be a danger. And he did absolutely nothing. Genuinely looked completely out of sorts. Was not really a danger to that right-hand side ever. He wasn't tracking back, so you can't even say he was putting in a shift. There was literally right at the start of the game, there was one moment where he put in a massive shift to try and press the ball. Apart from that, nothing else. He did absolutely nothing. And I think that as a person that has given Mudryk so much time and so much patience, and I've said like, hey, I'm willing to give him a couple of seasons to try and get himself up to speed. Now has to be the season where he starts proving himself, because I genuinely am right on the edge of just completely giving up on him. Like, I genuinely think that this has been a terrible, terrible investment, and we're not going to get as much money back from him, clearly, and I don't think we're just really getting a return from him in general. And I think I can be harsh on him, because, as I said, it's been 2 seasons now. I don't want to, and I like the kid, and I kind of have already said that I would rather him play than Sterling, because I think that Sterling is obviously on his way out, and Mudryk is a young kid. He's got a lot of potential, but we need to be seeing some of that potential at this point. It's his 3rd season. I'm not going to kind of go on him too much. Again, he hasn't played as much this preseason. He was the one player that I could highlight and put into this box as a player that just wasn't particularly very good. Now, the medium box is going to be reserved for 1 point but 2 players, and I'm just going to kind of link them together here, and it's Colwill and it's Fofana, because these two for the first goal were just simply not good enough. They both were doing the opposite thing of what they needed to do, which is really funny. I'm going to put a connection here. The reason I'm putting them in medium, I know they were at fault for the goal. The reason I'm putting them in mediums because apart from this one situation in the goal, I think that they were relatively decent. In that one instance and the situation where we conceded, and I think actually Mudryk gave the ball away again for this goal, which is very funny. Fofana, as obviously we know how aggressive he is. He likes to step up, he likes to try and press, but you do not press into the left centre mid position, you don't do that. Like, he doesn't need to be that aggressive. He goes completely out of position, leaves a hole in behind. Colwell is then too passive and not aggressive enough, in my opinion, doesn't close down his man, doesn't put a challenge in, and Thuram twats it into the top right corner with his left foot. And I think that these two really, again, it's really frustrating for Fofana specifically, because we know how good he can be. We've seen that, how good he can be when he played for Leicester, and when he came to us originally, before he got injured, he was good. He's got that promise, but he does have this complete bozo gene in him sometimes, where he just runs up the pitch for no reason. Likewise, Levi Colwill, we know how good he can be, but we've not seen the best quality in a Chelsea shirt like we saw at Brighton. And also him just completely picking fights with people all the time is a bit weird. I'm not really sure what, I guess he's passionate, but like, again, he's kind of there's no need for it. It's a pre-season friendly, like, come on. And yeah, I think that for the most part, I can put these guys in medium, because I think for the most part they were okay, but it's just that one moment, and we would probably have won this game if we didn't concede and we didn't switch off after the water break. That's the only negative things I'm going to say for this game. Nothing else I'm going to say about this game is negative. I'm going to talk specifically about good, positive things. Now, the first player I'm going to be putting in here is a contradictory point to Mudryk, and the opposite here is Raheem Sterling. He came on and he looked genuinely 10 times the player that Mykhailo Mudryk was. He was driving at his opposite number, and even though everything wasn't coming off for him, he actually showed a willingness to kind of get beyond his man and try and put balls into the box. And we obviously win our corner that we eventually score from because of Sterling's drive. And again, that's all I'm asking for Mudryk, is to do the same thing. I'm not asking for him to score 7 goals a game or score 15 goals a season, but I do want to see him just kind of, you know, actually run at people. Like, he's got the best speed in our entire team, and he never runs at people, which is really weird. He always tries to play more like a creator on the ball rather than making runs off the ball and just running at people. Always seems to want to do the kind of cutting in thing rather than going around the outside, and it just seems like a waste of his abilities. Sterling, however, obviously is a veteran. He knows how to use his abilities, even though he's very inconsistent. Now, today was one of those good days where he wasn't terrible, and he actually put in a pretty good shift, and obviously eventually we score from it. I've got four more points here, but I'm going to kind of make 5, because I've realised now that I've not put Vega in my good box. Let's talk about Vega, just because I can get him out of the way quickly. He came on in the second half, and genuinely, you would not believe that this guy is a new player to our team. You would not believe that this is a player that, for the most part, has played as a centre mid. Obviously, he is a left back. He can play at left back. He can play at left centre back. We know how versatile he is. He looks so good on that left hand side. He looks so good, and it's kind of a bit of cause of concern, because if he's that good and he's playing on the left-hand side, it kind of saying to the other more senior members of the team, like, hey, like, I can take your place here. I can play in this left-back spot. I can play in this left centre-back spot. Do I think he was better than Cucurella? I wouldn't say that, but I did see more things from him. I think Cucurella was a bit more steady. I think Vega was a bit more eventful, but I think that's just kind of the nature of the fact that Inter are a bit more into the game in the second half. Puts in a really good shift, yeah, and fits the system like a glove, genuinely. And he's, again, I said on Twitter, I tweeted out, I said I wanted to see him play. Seeing him warmed up, and he obviously came on, and he didn't look out of sorts at all. He was very good in his defensive work, as well as kind of not always playing the ball back and recycling, always kind of trying to make things happen from that left back spot as much as you can. And you can kind of tell from the way that he plays that he is a midfielder, that his passing is a little bit better than a normal left back, which is cool. Yeah, I think he had a very good cameo off of the bench. Let's talk about someone that also had a pretty good cameo as well, and that's Christopher Nkunku. Now, he could have scored an absolute worldie, and if he would have scored that overhead kick, I would probably done something outrageous, but unfortunately he didn't. I think he was popping up in really good positions, and he kind of showed that this is the position that he needs to be playing in that kind of reserved, slightly behind the number 9 role, and not in the number 9 himself. Now, I'll always say this, he always plays as what I like to call a 9.5, where he's not a 10, he's not a 9, but he's kind of in between. And in this kind of 8 role that he's been playing, now he's playing a bit more further forward, and with the new system that we kind of played, we saw him being a bit more advanced and a bit more in the channels, which is fun. I'm getting messaged, ignore that. Bad streamer. I have not turned my phone on silent. One sec. Very bad streamer. But yeah, I think that Nkunku had a very good cameo, and again, he's giving us a selection headache now because we really want to see how Kieran Dewsbury-Hall fits into this team, and we always thought he would be a mainstay of the team. But Nkunku has been popping up and kind of really showing that he should be in the first team. And again, like someone's just pointed it out there, Sommer, by the way. Christ, he played this game like it was a Champions League final, not a preseason friendly. Like genuinely, if it wasn't for Sommer, I think Nkunku would have had a goal. We would have definitely won this game if it weren't for the Swiss. I think he had a very good game. Obviously, he denied Nkunku's stellar goal that would have been, but unfortunately we didn't get that. But I do think overall his performance was good. Likewise, let's bring in another midfielder. Let's talk about Enzo Fernandez, because I think that he really started to like show why he should be in the team. And again, it's a really big selection headache. I mentioned this right at the start of the season, how many good midfielders we have. We have so many good midfielders, and for Fernandez to be standing out against players like Lavia, like Caicedo, like Nkunku, and him literally just controlling games at times, and also being the one that's kind of picking out the passes as well. Obviously, I did mention in my preview, I thought it would be a bit weird, but we did actually see Fernandez and KDH kind of swap sides, and they were playing on playing inverted rather than playing on the outside. I did, yeah. Someone just asked that. Lavia got. I don't think he got particularly hooked. I think it was more so the fact that he's played every single game. And I think he needed a bit of a rest. I don't think he was ever going to get through the full 90, even though he played very well. I haven't put him in one of the boxes because I don't think he particularly stood out, but I think that's he's kind of a victim of his own good performances. He's been so good now that he's kind of just putting in standard performance after standard performance, and it's kind of like, oh well, we expect this from him now. So I don't think he particularly stood out. Obviously, Caicedo was a little bit shaky when he came off. Guiu is a player that I'm not putting in here, unfortunately. I think he was very good. I think he was very good at pressing from the front, but I don't think he got as involved as he probably could have done. He could have had a goal as well, actually, to be fair to him. Again, I just don't think again, he's kind of a victim of his own success in a way, that he's kind of been doing this consistently now for a few games, and I don't think that I don't think he stood out to me particularly, because we kind of expect it from him now. Let's talk about, I have one more point. I know I said I was going to do 7 points. Technically, I'm doing 8 points because I don't count Maresca, who I'm going to be putting in good here. I don't think he counts as an actual point, because I just want to kind of sum up the overall thing. So I'm going to put him here. I think he genuinely coached a game that should have been more than one goal for us. I think that he coached a game that should have been more than a draw for us. I think that for the majority of the time, his systems that he employed in this game worked, and it was just that one moment. Genuinely, I don't think Inter had a chance of scoring against us if it weren't for us switching off after the water break. If we didn't switch off after the water break, we would have comfortably won this game, genuinely. The way that he is now shown, because this is the one thing that I was concerned about. Obviously, I've been full of praise for Enzo Maresca. Ever since the Leicester FA Cup tie, I've been full of praise for him. The one thing that I was concerned about was the fact that he has shown in the past that he is quite stubborn. In this now, and maybe it's just because he's experimenting, because it's pre-season, we saw a lot of adaptation from him, not only in terms of how the midfield operates, but how our fullbacks operate, how many centre backs we're playing, and it kind of, again, that kind of switching the midfielders with Enzo playing on the left hand side and cutting inside, and obviously KDH doing the opposite on the other side. And we actually kind of saw in the first half, it was very interesting. And I might do a tactical breakdown on this game specifically, because it was so interesting to me to see the different ways that the midfield swapped around. But it was almost like Kieran Dewsbury-Hall was playing as a 10 and Enzo was playing as a left-sided 8, and then we had Gusto playing as a right-sided 8, and then we had Lavia playing as a 6, and it was a bit of a weird kind of diamond that we were playing with the 3 at the back, and obviously Cucurella playing as that third centre-back. But at times we also saw, when we kind of shifted over to the right-hand side, we weren't playing it down the left, that Gusto was acting as that right centre-back as well. And I think that fluidity is something that we actually saw from Pochettino at the end of the season when we were playing that 3-2-5 system for the last 5 games of the season. That fluidity of being able to choose whether Cucurella or Gusto or Vega or whoever is in the fullback roles to be able to switch into the middle and actually provide value where they can get it. And obviously we saw that from this game, and obviously in the second half we changed that. Gusto was operating as a right winger. He was not playing as a right back, he was playing as a right winger. He was getting really, really high, and it shows that he was playing as this kind of right back, right winger role, but also playing as a centre mid, because the way that we used Caicedo in the second half when Leslie Ugochukwu came onto the pitch was really weird, and something that we kind of theorised that we might be able to do. And that's if we play Caicedo as a right back. He's played there in the past. He can play as a right back. He played there for Brighton. Obviously, he can invert into the centre mid because he is a centre mid. We actually saw Caicedo basically operating like a right wing back at times when Leslie came on, because Leslie took the 6 instead. Obviously, before he came on, Caicedo was operating as the 6 when Lavia came off. And it was just those weird rotations and those weird kind of, hey, let's just try and get the best out of everyone. That's really upsetting that I haven't put Gusto in here, because I do think he was absolutely stellar. But again, he just didn't fit into the 7 points, unfortunately. Because the player that's getting into the good box, and the final player that's getting into the good box, is a different Frenchman. It's a different young Frenchman who we signed in that window, and it's Leslie Ugochukwu. And the thing is, I was going to put him in here before he scored his goal. I genuinely was already going to put him in here before he scored, because he was so good when he came off the bench. He was winning everything in midfield, he was snapping into tackles, he was progressing us up the pitch, and he was just putting himself about. And it's weird, he's kind of been unlocked in this more advanced role, because he's obviously been playing majority of the time as a 6. He is very tall, he's very bulky, he's very good at defending. We know that he can play as a 6, but he's kind of been given a bit more freedom to roam and go a bit further forward in this new role under Enzo Maresca, and he's really shining from it. And he's got 2 goals in pre-season now. That's more than some of our strikers have. And I said I was going to put him in anyway, and then he scores the equaliser. So as I often say, if you get a goal contribution, you get into the box. I don't actually know who assisted him. I can't remember. I don't know if it counts as an assist, because I think it was a bit of a bundle and a bit of a mix-up in the box. But for him to smash that in as such a young kid, and a player that hasn't played a lot of first team football for us because he's been injured, because he hasn't really gotten into the side too much from a starting position anyway in pre-season. He hasn't played that much football, and he's still managed to get 2 goal contributions for us in pre-season and actually rescue this game and give us something to was it no assist? Actually give us something to be positive about, because to be honest, before this goal went in, even though we had positive signs, we saw good things from Maresca and from the other players that I put in this box, I was a bit bummed out. I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit sitting here like, ugh. A Rodri-esque goal, that's a really good way to put it. That is a really, really good way to put it, because that's exactly what Rodri does, and he's done it against Chelsea multiple times, where he just sits on the edge of the box and lashes one in the 90th minute. I don't know if he's going to stay with us, but because we have loaned out Andre Santos, I wonder if he might actually be like a player that we keep now. Someone's just asked about keepers, and I haven't mentioned keepers here. I don't think I do want to say I think Sanchez was pretty good today. I think he was very comfortable on the ball. Made a really, really good save as well from an absolute. I don't know if I can say that word on here without getting demonetized. I'll say it anyway. A thunder cunt, to be quite honest. It got splattered at him and he saved it. Someone just asked about keepers. If I was to keep 3 keepers this season, I think it's pretty nailed on for who we're going to be keeping. It's going to be Sanchez and Jorgensen, who are going to battle for our number 1 spot. I would personally play Jorgensen with our Sanchez as our number 2, and our number 3 is going to be Bettinelli. I think that's pretty obvious. The other players are very young and promising. Obviously, half of our goalkeepers have already gone out on loan. There was this big hoo-ha about, oh, why are Chelsea signing 9 goalkeepers? And literally the day after we had loaned or sold 4 of them. It's like, it's not this. I don't think Petrovic is going to be staying. Genuinely, I don't think he is, because I think he's not really found favour with the ownership and not found favour with the manager. And I don't think Petrovic would be on his way out if Enzo had kind of highlighted to the board, hey, this is a keeper that I want to have in my team. I feel like he has kind of relayed to the ownership that and the sporting directors that he's surplus to requirements and he can go out on loan. I assume he will go to Strasbourg. That's what I imagine, because that's pretty much everything we do now is we just go, hey, we don't need this player. Well, we've got a French team that we own. Let's throw them out there. But yeah, I think overall we can kind of take pride in this performance. We've got a lot of positives to take from it. We've got a few negatives to take from it as well, which you want to have negatives in preseason. This sounds weird. You want to have negatives in preseason because it helps you prepare for the actual season. Like, if we just bombarded through preseason and just won every single game, we wouldn't learn the weaknesses of the system. We wouldn't learn what we need to do to kind of combat those weaknesses, and we wouldn't learn. And I'm always a person that either says you either win or you learn. You don't lose, you win or you learn. And for us, we've done a lot of learning. Let's say that. We've done a lot of learning this preseason, I will admit. But yeah, I think that for the most part, this is a good way for us to end our preseason, and we move on to Manchester City. Now, I don't actually know, but this is really bad of me as a content creator. I don't actually know when that game is. Sunday, the 18th of August, so exactly a week from now. And it's a 6:30 kickoff, so I think it's probably the late kickoff on the Sunday, which is good. So the lead-in for that match will probably come out on the Saturday, the 17th of August, and yeah, in between then, because I've got quite a bit of time, I'll probably do a little bit of a tactical breakdown on this game, because I think it was very interesting to see how the midfield kind of shaped up, and I do want to kind of dive into that a little bit more, because I can't really show it with how I have this. I don't have my tactical board set up, so I can't really show it here. But thank you guys for hanging out. Let's quickly do the poll before I forget, because I nearly did. Let's do the poll for the True Blue. And I think a lot of us will kind of be in agreement here. I'm just gonna let's do obviously these are going to be players from the good box. If I can't type today, I apologize. I can only put 4 options in, as I often say. But yeah, go vote on the poll. And whilst you do that, I'm gonna take a sip of my 100% water and not Coke. Stay hydrated. Don't drink Coke in this 30-degree heat. But yeah, whilst you guys are voting as well, I'll mention I'm still kind of working in the background to do some certain things for the channel. Obviously, I mentioned I'm working on memberships, and with the memberships, obviously, there's going to be a lot of emotes that you can get for the streams and for the comment sections as well. I do not expect anyone to actually join the membership, so that's why I'm going to keep the price very, very low, just so you guys can get extra rewards without really having to pay much. One of those rewards, of course, as I've kind of mentioned in the past, is I'm going to be making a members only Discord. And I say I have made it. I just need to finish fixing it because it's a bit dodgy. But yeah, and eventually once that comes out, I will let you guys know. I'm trying to basically just hit so many different things off my bucket list for this year. Obviously we did the collab with Daniel a few weeks ago, which was one of my main ones. I really wanted to collab with other channels. The other one is obviously getting memberships, and hitting 20k is something I want to do. Don't know if that's going to happen, but we are very, very close to 18k right now. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, I don't ever do this. If you're watching this right now, hit the like button, because we can get a like spike on the graphic. I'm a terrible content creator. I don't. This is maybe this is a bit of a weird thing for me. I don't really like pandering and being like, hey, subscribe to the channel, like the channel. I really don't like doing it. It feels like really beggy. I would rather like my content and kind of me as a person would kind of earn your likes and your subscriptions. But I will say, please subscribe. We're so close. Oh, who was I talking about in that tweet? Thuram, Marcus Thuram. He took a very, like, it was a foul, but like you don't need to jump around and yell. It's a preseason game. Come on, man. All right. Okay. So a lot of people are. I'm going to end the poll. A lot of people have voted for Fernandes, which is very surprising to me. I'm surprised that Leslie didn't get it, but obviously you guys get the final vote on here. True Blue will go to Enzo Fernandez, who, yeah, I do think controlled the game very well and did create a few opportunities for us. As ever, thank you guys for hanging out. I will hit the outro if I can remember how to do it. I'm so out of sorts, it's so hot. I'll hit the outro. Thank you for hanging out, and I will catch you guys maybe in the midweek for a tactical breakdown, if not on Saturday for the lead-in. But yeah, have a good night, everyone.
And that was just my Feeling Blue match review for this game. I hope to see you here for the next one. But if you can't wait until then, YouTube reckons you'll enjoy one of these two videos on screen in the meantime. Thank you guys so much for watching as ever, and remember, in the rain or in the dry, keep that blue flag flying high. Come on, you Blues.